everybody, and welcome to the Aggieville Alleycats podcast. For come rain, shine, or anything in between, we're here to deliver to you the Kansas State sporting news you so love. I'm Ace Edwards, right alongside
Connor Baltazar.
And welcome to, last week we said we had a really, really good week. It was a really, really fun weekly recap. This one was a little more mixed, and going into Tuesday of this week, it was bordering on bad. Like the vibes were awful, honestly.
Yeah, it was really too bad because all week last week we had a genuinely great week of K-State athletics, and then a Saturday and just like the whole weekend were horrific, just nightmare scenario, and that's with a win. The win was bad enough that it so qualifies as nightmare. But credit where credit's due, pretty solid rebound throughout the rest of the week, I think you could say.
Yeah, and we are going to start with the men's basketball team. Full disclosure, we are recording this before the Mississippi State game at the Sprint Center. I will still refuse to call it the other name. And the main reason for that is I have class tomorrow morning and Connor has work. So recording at 11:30, and it takes us, about an hour to record, more to edit. I simply have no interest in that. So got the one. It's Tulsa, which I thought that we were going to have to chalk up as another, oh boy, what a week, captain. But, at the last minute, K-State manages to get a bucket and then get arguably two stops. I think you'll probably just classify them as one just because of how the inbound went. But, good Lord. Like, maybe Tulsa isn't going to be that bad. I think they were, either aggressively okay, bordering on bad last year. But this is the type of team that ideally you would want to beat by significantly more. And I don't think Tank's comments afterwards helped matters.
Yeah, this is definitely, I agree, a game that you should have won by double digits. Sure, Tulsa came in unbeaten, but it wasn't against really anything special in terms of competition. They, of course, could still end up having a great season. That could very well happen. But they're not a team that's considered to be one of the stalwarts of kind of the mid-major level. So this was not a great result by any stretch of the imagination. But if you want to take positives away from this game, and I'm willing to do that with this team at this point in the season, it's that I do think that we would have lost this game the last two seasons for different reasons. The 22-23 23-24 season being just a lack of talent, and then last year being a lack of cohesiveness or caring. And this team has way more talent than Jerome Tank's second year, and certainly cares way more than last year's team. And so they, despite nearly losing to Tulsa on what would have been a John Rothstein epitome of brutality tweet, they still ended up making it an entertaining game to watch, maybe from an objective perspective. And they had a hard-earned win. We definitely let them hit some tough shots late, kind of similar to Cal. We had chances to pull away, and we just didn't. But this was still a nice showing of toughness from K-State. Now, the concerns still remain on the defensive end. The offense, we had a poor shooting night from three and still made it to 84 points. So obviously offense, not a problem here. PJ Haggerty had 31. PJ is exactly what we were expecting, and maybe even more. But the defense has to get it figured out. And I'm still willing to cut some slack on that. But with every game that passes, there's going to be less and less of that slack because we can only kind of wander around aimlessly on the defensive end for so long before it becomes we're just a bad defensive team as opposed to we are a defensive team in development.
Yeah. And what this team has kind of showed to me early in the year, I should say, is they just don't really have they have instincts to win, but they don't have instincts to kill, I think is the best way to put it. Where there are times where they will let their foot off the gas a little bit rather than, just keeping the pedal to the metal the entire time and winning by significantly more. They are a team that tends to give up late runs. We saw that in this game and up against Cal, though I will say this was a Tang admitted mistake where PJ Haggerty was out of the game after his fourth foul, and then just 2.5 minutes happened before the next dead ball. But yeah, I think that this team still will be good. Just because defense in previous years, I think, took a little while to figure out. Again, that difference is that previous years was a talent and then a care differential. But yeah, we can go ahead and get into the stats. You mentioned PJ Haggerty going 32 minutes, 10 of 17 from the field, 0 of 2 from 3, 11 of 12 on his free throws, 10 total rebounds, including 3 offensive, 4 fouls, 3 assists, 5 turnovers, 2 steals for 31 total points. I believe 26 of those came in the second half, which is the most since Beasley.
Yeah, I think he's the first Wildcat since Beasley with a 30-10 game as well. So, I mean, obviously we're still very early in the season, but through 4 games, he's been the best K-State player since Beasley, which is a wild accomplishment because, of course, Beasley had arguably the best freshman season ever for a college basketball player. Obviously, Haggerty has a lot more experience, but he has been playing even better than he has at his previous stops so far. The shots he's been able to make with consistency have been so challenging, and there's not a lot of guys I think that can do that. But he was incredible in this game, and he was the exact kind of player that you need down the stretch. I mean, of course, obviously, it's a bit of a different feeling when it's against Tulsa and against a conference opponent. But it's still encouraging to see guys like Haggerty that can get you a bucket if you need it really badly. Because I want to give some credit to K-State. They did a really good job to get a really fast layup before the clock went under 30 seconds. PJ just sprinted, and we didn't have a lot of time, but he was still able to do it with about 2 seconds to spare. So that was huge from K-State. So some good clock awareness, good use of offense. I hope that this team figures out defense, because if they do, I think Haggerty could be a candidate to make some really legendary shots in March Madness, like some sort of late game tough acrobatic layups. That's his game is really built for that, I think. So I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the team develop around him. He's obviously the most advanced right now, but there's still plenty of other pieces that have been playing well.
Yeah. And included in that list would be Kamari McGriff, who played 25 minutes, 4 of 6 from the field, 5 of 6 on his free throws, 9 total rebounds, including 3 offensive, 3 fouls, 2 assists, 1 block, 1 steal for 13 total points. Then Abdi Bashir had, you're going to get these nights with shooters like Abdi Bashir, where it's not a bad night, just not horrendously efficient, actually just kind of average, which we kind of expect more from him, but we'll still take his performance. 28 minutes, 4 of 12 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3, 1 foul, 2 assists for 10 total points. Then Nate Johnson, 35 minutes, 2 of 7 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, another 9 rebounds, another 3 offensive, 4 fouls, 4 assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal for 5 points. And then rounding up starting 5 is Elias Repiak, going 10 minutes, 1 of 4 from the field, 0 of 1 from 3, 2 fouls, 1 turnover for 2 total points. So out of your starting 5, 3 people getting into double digits, 3 of them also having 9 or more rebounds. You'll take that any day of the week.
Yeah, Kamari McGriff 1 rebound away from a double-double. Another thing I'll note on him is his free throw windup is really strange. He doesn't dribble at all, and he just kind of stands there and fiddles with the ball. It really stresses me out because this doesn't come up much, but there is a 10-second limit on when you get the ball to shooting the free throw. So you can get like a delay a game or whatever the call is, like penalty, and lose the shot if you take too long. Like it's happened to Giannis Antetokounmpo in the NBA a few times, and he had to change his routine for before the free throws. So I timed McGriff, and he did go 9.5 seconds on one of them. So he is playing it really close, but it seems to be working for him because he's hit like 90% of his free throws to this point in the season. And I love a post player that can do damage at the free throw line as well, because that makes you just that much more dangerous. You can't just hack a shack. So happy with that. On the other end, though, Elias Rapiak, he's been pretty disappointing so far in a K-State uniform. This was probably his worst game. He had a nice layup at one point. He showed some good footwork, but he took a really bad three-point shot at one point, and otherwise has really seemed to struggle to this point, especially offensively. So I'm hoping to see more from him because he was one of the more talked about guys in the offseason. Was kind of thought to be a like instant impact sort of player for K-State, but it's been slow to begin with.
Now we got the bench players as well.
Yeah, so we'll start with the hero of the game, David Castillo, DC. Played 24 minutes with 4 of 10 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3. So his worst shooting game of the season so far. But, of course, that's made up for with his game-winning layup. He went 3 of 3 at the line, had a rebound and 2 assists, 2 turnovers, and a steal. He finished with 12 points. The jump in development that David has had from last year to now has really been exceptional. And there's a credit to him and the staff. But, I mean, he's making tough layups that I would have cringed if he attempted last year. But, I mean, he's going into contact, making really difficult shots. And that's a major credit to David. Really pleased with how he's been playing so far this year. And that game-winning layup, I think, was a great example of it. He it looked like he was kind of easing up to take one last possession and then get a shot there. But but as he was doing that, their post player moved out of the paint to cover the corner 3. And so he took the layup and adjusted on the fly there. So happy to see David take a step as a college basketball player. But a few other guys played too. Andre Kostic, he played 10 minutes, 2 of 5 shooting, 1 of 3 from 3. And he added 2 rebounds, 2 assists, no turnovers, 5 points. Actually pretty decent day for him. And his defense has been getting a bit better too. So Andre kind of starting to adjust a bit more after a rough start. But he had a big 3. And he had a really nice reverse layup in transition. So he, despite not playing a ton in this game, I'm happy with the development he showed in this game. Doreen Buka, 1 of 2 from the field in 15 minutes for 2 points. Then had 4 rebounds, 3 fouls, 1 assist, and a block. So a fine game from him. He looked like he was going to attempt a couple of threes at one point, but thought better of it, luckily. But his one make was a kind of a lob that he wasn't quite ready for, but he had a really nice tip in with a soft touch. So that was good to see. And then CJ Jones played 14 minutes, did not play great offensively, for K-State. 1 of 4 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3, with a rebound, 2 assists, and a turnover, 2 points. His role in offense is mainly stand in the corner and take open threes, but I don't think he's hit one yet this year. And then he almost cost us the game there at the end because the ball went out on him and was Tulsa's ball after. And then Taj Manning played 7 minutes in this one, 1 of 1 from the field. He had a nice offensive rebound and put back, 2 rebounds, and then a foul from him. The day that we're recording, it is Taj Manning's birthday. So, and he is playing in Kansas City with K-State from Mississippi State. So he is in his hometown. I think is he from Kansas City, or am I thinking of someone else?
That general area. I think he's from Grandview, which is a suburb. It's like next to Independence, Missouri.
Gotcha. Okay.
So same general area. But yeah, so the next matchup will be up against Mississippi State. It will have already happened by the time you're listening to this. And then it will be either Nebraska or New Mexico tomorrow at 6 or 8:30. Then next Tuesday up against Indiana in Bloomington. So little run there of Power 4 competition. I guess it is Power 5 because you consider the Big East in basketball. But yeah, now we can talk about the Volleycats who, oh boy. Yeah, the first matchup was one of the biggest contributors to the weekend kind of being stinky, not only alongside the Oklahoma State game, but this was a very frustrating matchup simply by virtue of K-State being tantalizingly close every time and then still dropping it in straight sets against KU at home.
Yeah, this was a very frustrating loss, to be sure. That first set, they kind of let get away from them in the middle. Same story, really, for the second set. They closed the gap in both, but were just too late. The third set was kind of the opposite. K-State took a lead and let KU come back in that one. They lost in extra points, unfortunately. The K-State defense was kind of in a weird spot, particularly their net defense. It looked like they were a bit early on almost all of their blocking attempts that KU was trying. They didn't really adjust for that until pretty late, and that was frustrating because, yeah, this was a great opportunity, I think, to, without a doubt, lock down an NCAA tournament bid. I mean, I think they're going to do it anyways, but I think that this would have been like throw away the key. They're going to be in the tournament if they had won this match. Plus, it's a in-state match. It was a sold-out match. When I got there, there was a line all the way to College Avenue. Like there were a ton of people that wanted to come to this match, and so I'm disappointed with the result, especially with at a few times it looked like we were kind of in our own heads. Like didn't quite have the emotion I was hoping for at times. Most of the time we did, though. But yeah, it was still a frustrating loss. Not one that's going to hurt our tournament chances at all, but still a game that, even though it was a 3-0 sweep, I think that we played okay, but definitely could have been a lot better.
Yeah. If you're looking for stat leaders, Shaylee Myers led in kills with 15, and Nia Clinton in second with 11. There are 2 aces, one by Simone Sims and the other by Emerson Van Lannen. Blocks, there were 4 by Brenna Schmidt, and then Ava the Grand led in both the digs and assists with 12 and 34, respectively. We can just kind of bury this game and never talk about it again because it was annoying. It was a very annoying game on a very annoying Saturday.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that. Just kind of burying that one because it was. I decided to go to that instead of sitting at home and watching the football game, and I just watched the football game on my phone on the Wi-Fi there. So it was probably the worst multi-view experience of my entire life. To just watch like one of the worst K-State games of the last decade and watch volleyball at times forget how to play volleyball. But still having a good season, still in a really good spot. They're RPI top 30, so this loss to KU did literally nothing to them in RPI. So that's a great benefit.
Yeah. But the converse of that is that sweeping a Houston squad probably isn't going to do anything for the RPI either, because Houston is really bad this year. Sweeping them 3-0, 25-19, 25-20, and then 25-20. Yeah, this is kind of the expected result, and very much I don't want to call anyone a sort of get-right opponent, but if there is a get-right opponent, it might be Houston, which is so strange that now I think it's in 2 women's sports that they are stereotypically the worst team now.
Yeah, it's a weird state of affairs for them. But yeah, this was a match K-State really controlled start to finish. I think level of control, you'd probably have to go to maybe Texas Tech. I think we might actually control Tech more than this one, but Houston, traditionally actually a really strong volleyball school. They dominated the American for several years, and were okay in their first year in the Big 12, but the last 2 seasons have been a little bit weaker for them, and this year has been their worst in a long time, 1-14 in conference play. But yeah, K-State got out to a quick lead in set 1 and really never looked back. Houston fought back a bit in the second set, but K-State mostly controlled here. Shaylee Myers had a great game, 16 kills, and she added 2 service aces as well with 13 digs. So a double-double for Shaylee Myers. She played great on the back line, both offensively and defensively. I was really happy with that. Jordan Williams was very effective as an attacker and a net defender. 7 kills for Jordan, then 3 block assists. Mania Clinton, a bit inconsistent, but when she was good, she was really good. 9 kills for her. Did have 2 service aces, but had 4 errors. And then 2 block assists, but did have 3 blocking errors. And added 7 digs, but did have a receiving error as well. So a very mixed bag for Nia Clinton in this game. Ava LeGrand was great as well. She played some really good defense, had a solo block, 37 assists and 11 digs. So a great night for her. Reagan Fox was actually really effective as a opposite attacker and had 6 kills, had a block assist, then had a dig too. Then otherwise, some other notable stuff. Kaylee Pond had 8 digs and had a few nice ones. Emerson Van Lannen had an ace. And Brenna Schmidt had 5 kills and a couple of block assists. And then Simone Sims, 4 assists and 10 digs for her. So all around a pretty solid night for K-State. I think in the Massey ratings, they went up by 1 after this. They went from 34 to 33. So nothing dramatic, and I think that's fair given the quality of opponent. But like the end of volleyball season has really kind of snuck up on us. Like we're looking at it from today, only 2 matches left.
Yep. And one of them being next Wednesday up against UCF, and then the finale up against Iowa State in Ames. Then they get to postseason time, which that's always it'll be the first time they've participated in a couple of years. I seem to remember it. Leah Carter was on on the last team that made it, and then they got destroyed by Florida State.
That sounds right to me. I think that they made it her freshman year, if I remember. Yeah, they went up and they faced Florida State in Lincoln, and they got swept. And they went 15-13 and 6-10 overall, but still made the tournament. Then back in 23, they were the very first team left out of the field that season. That was a team that absolutely deserved to be in. So, yeah, I think 21's the last time they made the field. But Mansfield having by far his best season, most consistent season. And the Big 12 also doing a lot of help for K-State because the Big 12 has been an RPI darling in volleyball this year. In fact, they are considered the toughest conference in volleyball by RPI.
Splendid. That was actually the move with your Mark. You wanted us to be a volleyball conference.
Okay. Wouldn't have been my first choice, but we have a really nice arena, so I guess we're prepared for it. So,
yep. So the last bit of actual happenings that have occurred in terms of competitiveness is the women's basketball team who dropped, I don't want to call it a heartbreaker, but it certainly was a tough one up against Texas A&M in the return game, 77-72. And this was, I think the prevailing story from this game will be that K-State was extremely shorthanded. I mean, only 8 people played. Nastya Claessens, I believe, was still either acclimating or didn't get back from Belgium quite yet. But the team was shorthanded, and it definitely showed with the minute distribution. That being said, this was still a very winnable game that I feel like most people are in the right for being frustrated about. And I can't say I'm horrendously surprised, and you're going to hear this a lot throughout the entire year. This team will almost never surprise me with a result. Like if they lose to someone, it's like, yep, they're a young team. And if they meet someone that they beat like number 4 in the country or something like that, it's like, yep, they're talented enough to do that. There is not a single result unless they're playing like Donnie's Children of the Poor Society University from Shreveport, Louisiana on 22nd Street. Like that's the only result. Like losing to them would be the only result that would actually surprise me. Everything else, like in the middle, yeah, nah, that's not shocking to me.
I was not familiar with Donnie's school. I'll talk to Gene and see if we can get them on the schedule going forward. Never hurts to have a bye game, but yeah, this was a very frustrating loss because we were right there with a little over a minute left, a minute 13. This was a 2-point game. We were down 74-72. We also tied the game with 2.5 minutes left, 70 all. So I think it's fair to say that we very well could have won this game. But it was just a really rough first half for K-State. Some players in particular, I think, really struggled due to just personnel shortages. And you're right. Claessens was, I think that was her last day with the Belgian national team. I'm pretty sure she got back either late Monday or early Tuesday. But yeah, this super frustrating loss. Again, hindsight, it isn't surprising, but in the moment, this felt like a winnable game that we really let slip through our fingers and would have been a great rebound from the disappointing loss to South Dakota.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and go over the starters. Tess Heel, just 29 minutes, 6 of 8 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3, 2 of 2 on her free throws, 2 rebounds, 1 of them offensive, 2 fouls, 1 assist, 3 turnovers for 15 points. So she had a good day. And the Alleycat favorite at this point, Gina Garcia, also had a good day. 37 minutes, 5 of 6 from the field, 2 of 2 on her free throws, 3 rebounds, 3 fouls, 3 assists, 4 turnovers, 1 block, 1 steal for 12 points. You know what that means. She was a 3-point away from stuffing the stat sheet. We're going to give it to her. I'm giving it to her.
I think you should. I think you should. I think that qualifies.
Yeah. But Brandy Harrod goes 31, 5 of 15 from the field, 0 of 1 from 3, so not horrendously efficient. Even worse, 2 of 6 from the free throw line, but did get 6 rebounds, three of those being offensive. 2 fouls, 3 blocks, 1 steal for 12 total points. And Taryn Sides, who has sort of been on an anti-heater as of late, where she's just been really, really cold from the field. 21 minutes, 2 of 8 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, 2 rebounds, 2 fouls, 2 assists, 1 turnover for 6 points. And then Ramaya White started and certainly did play. 16 minutes, 1 offensive rebound, 2 fouls, 1 turnover, 1 block. So 0 points for her. Yeah, she did indeed play. She was in the starting 5.
I think her performance can be summed up by her getting boxed out by a foot shorter and half her size. It was not a glowing performance, to be certain, and I think she was left out there too long by Jeff Mitty. Spicer ended up playing great defense on their tall player late. Had a few nice kind of poke away steals. I think we should have gone to that earlier. I get, hindsight is 2020, but I mean, even in the moment, it was very obvious that White was just struggling against this A&M team for one reason or another and should have left the game earlier. So, I don't think we can pin the whole game on that. I think it has more to do with just a very slow offensive start and then not really finishing strong in the fourth quarter. We didn't get to the free throw line once in the fourth quarter. We only took 13 shots, only 3 threes. Then, of course, it never helps when you turn over more than you assist. So the defense just wasn't good enough either.
No. I will say that I for the 3 bench players, I'm happy with all of them, with how all of them played.
Yeah, no, I would totally agree. Jordan Spicer, she had, I think, her best game so far. Feels like every game she's taking a step, which is exactly what you want to see from your young players. 4 of 9 from the field, but notably 4 of 7 from 3. Far and away her best game from distance. So she finished with 12 points, added 6 rebounds, 3 fouls, 3 assists, 3 turnovers, and a couple of steals. And she was asked to deal with a very tough defensive assignment at times. Lauren Ware, who I think is 5 or 6'6" for Texas A&M. Nia Foy played 12 minutes, 2 of 3 from the field. All of those attempts were threes, and 3 of 4 at the free throw line. 9 points for her, then a foul and a turnover. So she was asked to produce offense, and that's what she did. And then Isella Arenas played 21 minutes, 2 of 6 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, and made her 1 free throw attempt for 6 points, then added 6 rebounds, a couple fouls, 2 assists, and a steal. Solid performances from all of our young players off the bench, especially Spicer and Foy. I think Arenas has shown the ability to be able to be a great scorer at times. I think the one thing that she definitely needs to work on right now is being more decisive, because I do think sometimes she can really chew up a possession with kind of ISOing and waiting to for the perfect moment. But I think that's something that will come with time for her because she's still a young player. So I'm not worried about that long term, but that's something that she can work on.
So you're saying she's indecisive?
She can't
decide?
You could say that. I did say that, so.
Yeah, the next matchup for K-State was up against Troy, who they beat them 81-59. You and I kind of shrugged our shoulders whenever this matchup happened, and then Troy just went out and dropped a hundo on Mizzou and beat them. So, okay.
Yeah, and that's a Mizzou team with a new head coach, and I think a lot of excitement. So, that's a noteworthy win for the Troy Trojans. But they played K-State pretty well in the first half, honestly. This is a 35-28 game at halftime. And it kind of took in the second quarter, a little rally at the beginning of the quarter to really kind of separate there. But then the second half, of course, we played a lot better. The third quarter, which has typically been our best quarter all season, was our best this time as well. We won that quarter plus 11. But a nice win, and after the Mizzou game, it's looking even better. But I'll go ahead and take the starters for this one. Jordan Spicer led K-State in scoring in this one. Wasn't super efficient from the field. 22 minutes, 3 of 9 from the field, 2 of 7 from 3. One of her threes, though, was super deep. Very, very deep three, like approaching 30 feet. So that was a nice thing to see from Jordan. She's kind of starting to hit those deep threes with more regularity. I do not mind Jordan shooting this much because there's going to be games like the A&M game where she goes 4 of 7 from 3. In this game, 2 of 7, not exactly what you want to see, but they're not egregious misses. I mean, like, they're not always easy shots, but some of them are, and they're just going to start falling more with time. And that's her identity. She's a shooter, but she showed versatility in this game as well, grabbing 10 rebounds, so her second double-double of her career. Did foul 4 times, 2 assists, 3 turnovers in this game. K-State, though, was very obviously and visibly frustrated with the officiating in this game, which happens, I think, more often than not, and that's not a K-State thing. That's a women's basketball thing.
God, the officiating in women's basketball is so bad.
Yeah, it is brutal. To be fair, there's not a lot of good officiating at most levels of basketball. It has probably always been pretty bad, though. But moving on here, Brandy Harrod, very efficient game for her. She played 21 minutes, went 6 of 7 from the field, and then finished with 12 points, missed her 1 free throw, and then 4 rebounds, 3 fouls, a couple turnovers, and a steal for her. Tess Heel, 3 of 5 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3, and then made 3 free throws with 11 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers. A very efficient day for Tess, who had a good game against A&M, made some big shots late, some tough shots in the second half in that game. And she really needs to be wide open for her 3-point shot to work, which is the downside of it. But the upside is that it really does go in like at least half the time, not even exaggerating on it. Like it's a really great shot. It just takes a while to get there. And it's not like Arthur Kaluma's where he's like 6'8" and is able to just shoot from over his head. So it doesn't matter if there's someone in his face. But Terrence Sides did struggle a bit in this game. Did actually leave for a while with an injury. I couldn't tell exactly what it was live. I was at the game, but I think she took an elbow from Jordan Spicer. I think it was friendly fire. And she was able to come back, but still played 31 minutes, which was the most on the team. 3 of 11 from the field. Did go 1 of 8 from 3. Her 1 make was pretty late. 2 of 2 at the line. So 9 points and 9 rebounds for her with 6 assists, 2 turnovers, and 3 steals. So a pretty busy game for Taryn. All she's missing there is a block. But
which good luck. Yeah.
Not a stat sheet stuffer. No offense, Taryn. Then Gina Garcia started as well. She's the last starter. 29 minutes for her. 3 of 9 from the field. 1 of 3 from 3. And then made her 1 free throw. 8 points for her, 2 rebounds, 3 fouls, 5 assists, 2 turnovers, and a steal for Gina. One play I'll highlight. She had a really nice inbounds play against Troy's press where she got the ball and then just blazed everybody down the court. Just left everybody in the dust behind her for an easy layup. Did also at one point, I think, brick a short shot in transition, which, to be fair, is it looks a lot easier than it is. It's that not quite layup distance, but almost, where you can't really use the backboard, but so you kind of have to just kind of take a floater, and you almost always just hit back iron or it rims out. Like, those shots will look way easier than they actually are. So, like my condolences to Gina that she had to try that in game. But it's also a shot that you got to hit. So like it's not fair, but I'm sorry, dude. You just got to
it's tough. It's tough. But in terms of bench players, Nastia Klassens, their first game back, 23 minutes, 4 of 8 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, 2 offensive rebounds, 2 turnovers, 1 block, 1 steal for 9 points. And Anaya Foy, who still does not have a link on the K-State Sports website, she may never get one. 14 minutes, 4 of 8 from the field, 1 of 3, so identical to Nastia Klassens, but getting 6 defensive rebounds, 1 assist to 4 turnovers, 1 block, and 3 steals for 9 points. And then Isela Arenas goes 20 minutes, 3 of 12 from the field, 0 of 5 from 3, so not horrendously efficient, but 2 of 2 from her free throw lines, 2 offensive rebounds, 3 total, 1 turnover, 1 steal for 8 points. Then Ramaya White played 9 minutes, 1 of 2 from the field, did get 3 rebounds, 1 foul for 2 points. And then Michaela Parks came in towards the end, 4 minutes, 0 of 1 from the field and 3, picked up a foul.
I think what this game mostly told me was that if we had Nastia Klassens, I think we beat Texas A&M. And I think we certainly beat South Dakota. And for what it's worth, Janessa Cotton missed the A&M and the Troy games. She's been a fixture in the starting rotation, but I think she's been sick is the deal, because she wasn't even there at the A&M game, but she was present for the Troy game, but just wasn't suited up. So that indicates to me she'll be back pretty soon, assuming that it was just illness. But yeah, like if we had Nastia Klassens and Janessa Cotton, I think K-State wins that game against A&M, which, woulda, coulda, shoulda, but, still glad that we came away with a win versus a Troy team that may end up being okay. So.
Right. But the next matchup for K-State will be in Green Bay, Wisconsin this Saturday at 1. And then they go to Cancun, where absolutely no one will get to see them play because it is on Flow Hoops. So we get to enjoy the sultry tones, hopefully, of Brian Smaller. But there are also a few – we mentioned that was it for like the competitiveness step part of it. But we are going to briefly mention that there were a bunch of K-State recruits in football that saw a boost in their ratings. Nothing crazy, but yeah, just a few upticks in what we point to get on the On3 ratings.
Yeah, the On3, the most notable here is probably Justin Morales, who is now graded as a 4-star, the 91 out of 100 score. That puts him at 223rd nationally. He's someone that Ace and I both really liked when we were initially kind of reviewing these recruits as they came in. But I was very happy to see that happen and Morales get that bump in his grade. Oliver Miller also saw some increases across On3 and 24/7. Interestingly, for the 24/7 grades, Justin Morales also a 4-star there now. But this one caught me by a bit of a surprise. Lawson McGraw is a 4-star now on 24/7, which I did not expect. But I think he's put out some good senior tape and has had a good season as a tight end, as well as a linebacker at the high school level. So I think it's still a bit of a mystery what position he'll play at K-State. I mean, probably tight end, but he's a good enough athlete that I think he could make it work on the defensive side of the ball. He might see the field a bit faster just because tight end is a very deep room at K-State, and B, just a difficult position to get good at the college level. Then, of course, Oliver Miller, he's seen some increases. He's become notable as a K-State recruit. because he was being heavily pursued by Auburn and Ohio State for visits, and he had visits scheduled, but has since shut down those visits and is going to sign with K-State in December. So a pretty substantial recruiting win for K-State. K-State, I think, put in some major work in the trenches in this recruiting cycle. Did we talk about Carnell Jackson last week?
Oh, yeah, I think we did.
Okay. Then if we didn't, Carnell Jackson committed. He's a really big defensive lineman. He was once committed to Arkansas.
Yeah.
That's the story.
That's the story on him. And there are also a few other guys that are so sort of waiting on decisions, whether they be JUCOs or flips. But just wanted to briefly mention the recruits because, you know, we still cover those even though it's been certainly slower. But that all being said, do you have any final notes?
I just hope that we end up winning this game against Mississippi State tonight. I mean, obviously, by the time this airs, you'll know whether we did or didn't, the people that are listening. But at the time of recording, we have no idea, but fingers crossed.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you all for listening to this episode of the Aggieville Alleycats podcast. If you want to follow or contact the show, you can follow us just about anywhere at Aggieville Alleycats. And if you want to email us, we're AggievilleAlleycats@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on a more personal note, I am at ACEdwards00.
I am at Connor Baltzor, capital C, capital B.
And if you want to support the show financially, please be sure to check out the official Aggieville Alleycats merch store, link found in our podcast and Twitter bio. But most importantly, thank you all for listening to this episode of the Aggieville Alleycats podcast. Where come rain, shine, or anything in between, we're here to deliver to you the Kansas State sporting news that you so love. Stay safe, Alleycats.